Hi, my name is Tanner. I'm a geology master's student at Bowling Green State University, and today I'm going to be reacting to What If You Drained the Oceans by XKCD's What If. Pretty excited to check this out and see what kind of crazy stuff is going to happen as the result of this.
This question comes from Ted, who asks, how quickly would the oceans drain if a circular portal 20 meters in diameter appeared at the bottom of the Challenger Deep, which is the deepest spot in the ocean? How would the Earth change as the water was being drained?
Okay, I want to just take another look at the question here. So 20 meters in diameter, so that's like pretty substantial, and it would be at like the bottom of the ocean, the Challenger Deep. So I think that's the deepest point in the ocean. It's like in a trench, if I remember correctly. But so what would be interesting about this is I don't think that that's going to be able to like suck up like the entire ocean, because there would still be like puddles of like other regional lows that wouldn't quite be able to funnel into this area. So how the Earth changes the water is being drained. So I'm pretty curious about this, because I know he takes a physics perspective, and I bet he's gonna be talking about some like weird physics stuff as this thing is drained. And also just like maybe like the fluid velocities and how it's going to reshape a lot of Earth's landscape. So I think that would be very, very interesting.
The Challenger Deep, which is the deepest spot in the ocean. How would the Earth change as the water was being drained? Okay, I want to get one thing out of the way first. According to my rough calculations, if an aircraft carrier sank and got stuck against the drain, the pressure would be enough to easily fold it up and suck it through.
Oh, that's crazy. That's a
also,
crazy
where's
amount
the
of
other end of
suction.
this portal? I vote we put it directly above the Mars Curiosity rover. That way, it can finally find incontrovertible evidence of liquid water on Mars' surface. So what happens back on Earth when the portal opens? Not much. It would take hundreds of thousands of years for the ocean to drain. Even though the opening is wider than a basketball court, and the water is being forced through at incredible speeds, the oceans are huge. The water level would drop by much less than a centimeter per day. There wouldn't even be a cool whirlpool on the surface, because the opening is just too small and the ocean is too deep. But let's suppose we speed up the draining by opening more or bigger drains at the bottom of Challenger Deep today. Incredible ocean to drain. Even though...
Okay, so that's really interesting that like just because this place would be so small, it's like not enough to actually like substantially change the Earth's ocean, because the Earth is just too big. So I do think it's crazy that it's like, oh, it will only be like a centimeter per day, which is like, man, that's crazy to think about.
The water level would drop by much less than a centimeter per day. There wouldn't even be a cool whirlpool on the surface, because the opening is just too small and the ocean is too deep. But let's suppose we speed up the draining by opening more or bigger drains at the bottom of Challenger Deep. Here's how the world looks at the start, and here's the map after the oceans drop 50 meters. It's pretty similar, but there are a few small changes. Great Britain,
Coastline,
Sri Lanka, New
geography.
Guinea, Java, and Borneo are all now connected to their neighbors. And after 2,000 years of trying to hold back the sea, the Netherlands is finally high and dry. Some of the dikes they built would now be holding in the sea rather than holding it out. As world experts on reclaiming land from the ocean, now that they're no longer preparing for the constant threat of a cataclysmic flood, they could turn their energies outward, expanding onto the newly revealed sea floor. When the sea level reaches minus 100 meters, the Black Sea...
Okay, yeah. This is really cool because it changes like the geography of everything like so much. Actually, during like the peak of the last ice age, this area right here I think used to be like cohesive, and then this area used to be cohesive, and I think there's a like a biological line. I think it's like the Wallace line that goes between here. I think this is like soon to land, but I'm not 100% sure. I always think it's really interesting how like whenever you have like a lower water level, how this changes geography, because it pushes the coastline more towards the ocean. There are even a lot of associations between like through deep geologic time, associations between different types of creatures living in different places, and also just like different evolutionary lineages that are associated with some of these areas. So yeah, I think it's really crazy to just think of how that would just like impact everything.
It stops shrinking because it's no longer connected to the ocean. As the water level falls, more and more basins get cut off from the drain of the Pacific.
Yeah. So that's what I was curious
Depending on the details
about.
of the sea floor in each basin and the exact speed of draining, the outflow of water might carve a deeper channel, allowing it to flow for longer, but most basins will at some point become landlocked and stop draining. By 200 meters of sea level fall, the map is really starting to look weird. New islands are appearing. Indonesia's a big blob. The Netherlands now controls much of Europe. At 500 meters, Japan becomes a causeway that connects the Korean peninsula with Russia. New Zealand gains new islands. The Netherlands expands north. After the top kilometer of the oceans have drained, the Arctic Ocean becomes cut off and its water level stops falling. New Zealand, which appropriately was named after a province in the Netherlands, continues to grow dramatically. Meanwhile, the Old Zealanders crossed the land bridge into North America. When the sea is dropped by 2 kilometers, we see new islands popping up left and right. The Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico lose their connections with the Atlantic. I don't even know what New Zealand is doing. I don't think New Zealand knows either, but it's in keeping with its Dutch namesake. At 3 kilometers, many of the peaks of the Mid-Ocean Ridge, which is the world's largest mountain range, break the surface. Vast swaths of rugged new land emerge and prepare to be overrun by Dutch engineers. By 5 kilometers, most of the major oceans have become disconnected and stopped
everything
draining.
just like...
The exact locations and
there's
sizes
like so
of the
many
various
basins
inland seas
everywhere.
are hard to predict, but by this point, New Zealand and Old Zealand are almost certainly reunited. When the drain finally empties, there is a surprising amount of water left, although a lot of it consists of very shallow seas with a few trenches where the water might be as deep as 4 or 5 kilometers. Vacuuming up so much of the ocean would massively alter the climate and ecosystems in ways that are hard to predict. At the very least, it would almost certainly involve a collapse of the biosphere and mass extinctions at every level. But it's possible,
Yeah, just
if
like a
unlikely,
minor
that
thing.
humans could manage to survive. The Dutch are, after all, famous for engineering their way out of natural disasters. We'd be in good hands.